Good morning. Hey, it's Kirk Duncan here, and welcome to this incredible opportunity to talk about the best coaching appointment. Looking forward to talking to you and sharing with you what I've learned over the last 19 years of coaching. So, real excited to have you here. Welcome, welcome. It's Saturday morning. What a beautiful day, right? I'm just super tickled to be able to talk to you about this because I know for myself as a coach, it has been one of those challenges along the way is like, how do I do an appointment that's like really, really effective, right? Like, how do you structure this? What's the checklist? What do I need to do? And so I was thinking, because I hold coaching appointments, and so I hear where people are struggling. And I've heard this over the last couple months of people asking me about, how to structure an appointment. And I thought, you know what? Let's do a Saturday morning experience and let's get together. And I'm going to walk through how I do a coaching appointment and also give you a lot of great insight, probably way too much information for you, but you're going to really, I know the parts that are going to matter to you are going to stand out to you. And so make sure you have something to take notes. But most important, make sure you have something to either take a screenshot or take a picture of the screen. There will be some screenshots that I show you like this in front of you that you will not have time to write down everything that's on the screen. You're going to need to take a picture of the screen because I want to keep this morning's webinar short and to the point. We all have our Saturday projects and things we're doing, but we want to cover this so that you know exactly what to do to shape up your coaching appointment. So welcome. Good to have you here. Who's in the chat box already? Who's in there saying hi? Well, good morning to you. Yeah, in the Zoom toolbar, there's a chat. There's a spot where you click chat, right? You guys have been on Zoom, I'm sure, before. But you go there and there's a chat thing. Get in there and say good morning. Hi, Janessa. Hi, Lillian. Super good to be with you. I'm going to jump in there and say hi, too. Hello. Hello, everyone. So go find the chat. Get in there and say hi. And then also the other part is in your Zoom toolbar is a Q&A button. Click that Q&A button. That will then open up a Q&A screen that you then can type in your questions. Now, at any time you have a question, anytime. Well, hello, Jennifer, Christina. I don't even know how to say that. Sonda and Jerry, Mindy, Logan, Tiffany, Leanne, good to be with you here this morning. Also, hi, Jetta. And then I'm sorry, I get captivated by the chat. I just want to jump in there and say hi to everybody. So also there's the Q&A button. If at any time you have questions, put your questions in the Q&A anytime through it because there'll be different times I'll be stopping and then going through and answering some questions for you. Super cool. All right, good. So we're going to be covering today, the best coaching appointment. Now, I'm going to assume that good morning from Bristol in the UK. Well, hello, Jennifer from the UK. That's awesome. So I'm going to assume that you are coaching or that you want to coach or maybe it's just in the back of your mind, you're curious about coaching. Well, you're going to get an eyeful today and an earful today. And this is going to be extremely helpful, very detailed, and it follows a pattern. I don't know if you guys like, things that are easy to follow. And I mean, right? Easy to follow. It's in a pattern. But to me, once something shows up in a particular pattern, wow, I can learn that pattern. And that's what I want to do for you today is to show you that pattern. Now, a little bit about how I personally coach with my one-on-one coaching. With my one-on-one coaching, I really like to use a structure in how my whole coaching works and how the appointment works. Because the more I have structure, then intuition can really flow. Now, intuition is that sixth sense, right? That ability to tune into people and understand like where they're at, what they're thinking, and especially looking for what is the deep underlying sabotage that is going on. So I've found the more I can create structure in what I do, I then have higher levels of intuition. So I don't know if you've ever seen people who talk about like, oh, just let your appointment flow and just let it go wherever it needs to go. I tried that and I've seen people try that. I I don't know. I kind of see a large failure rate with people who don't have structure. And so if you really want to last, I've been coaching for 19 years. If you really want to last as a coach, you got to have structure. There has to be some kind of formula, some kind of pattern, some kind of framework for you to be able to follow, because your real, like, unique part about who you are is the gifts and talents that you have that you use when you're connecting with people. But if your structure's in place, your intuition will flow. It'll thrive. But if your structure is not in place, then what happens is you struggle remembering what to do. You struggle on what's next. And so then what happens is your intuition really can't really thrive at the level that it could. Now, I want you to know, over the years, I have coached and personally worked with, I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the form of audiences, like large group coaching courses, having people come to my home, doing coaching inside my home. And I've done, I mean, one-on-one coaching I've been doing for 19 years. And so all of this different kind of coaching is literally, I've met lots of people, and I've met some very, very, very gifted and talented people who are in tune with others. But when we add structure, the structure takes it to the next level. So anytime you are listening to me, you'll always find that I'm following a pattern, following a checklist, following a structure, and I'm not a structured guy. You just need to know I am not. I was not born a structured person. I had to, like, embrace this because I wanted my coaching ability to go to the next level. And I kept meditating, I kept praying, asking for that next level of how can I be a better coach? And the answer that kept coming back was you need to have much more structure and how the system works. And it was like, that's just so weird. And I'm like, I'm not a structure guy. And it's like, well, get into it, figure it out. So if you've been wondering why you can't really connect to people, or why you can't find the core issue, and maybe you're trying to figure out, like, how do I, how do you, like, custom teach people? How do you customize techniques? How do you work with people in a custom way? You have a structure. You want to be able to get into, like, where they're at. I'm telling you the secret. Have a structure. Your intuition will increase by 10 times. Now you can customize the action steps and the techniques, and that person is going to experience a phenomenal experience with you coaching. But the secret is you've got to develop your structure and how you're holding your appointment, how you're running your program. That way your intuition can feel like it has a safety place to be able to function at its highest. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Tell me in the chat if that makes sense, what I'm talking about, just to open that up for today. And so this is one of the reasons why I want to share this with you, is so that as you're developing your natural gift, maybe you're an empath, maybe you have other spiritual gifts that you use while you're working with people, but to get that to go to the next level, you got to back up and put some structure in place. So I'm going to help you with that today, about building your best coaching appointment. Now, this is a checklist. This is what I put in the email, right? So the email you got from me said, I'm going to cover this. We're going to check the box. I'm going to cover all of this. So I'm going to just get right into it. Cool. Okay. So another benefit is confidence comes from this structure also. And I want you to become the best coach they ever met. Because when people meet you and they have this phenomenal experience and they feel the structure, Okay, listen, 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 listen. When they feel like there's some kind of format and there's some kind of structure, they then feel confident in telling their friends about you. They then feel confident of passing the word along, like word of mouth, right? And isn't that what we all want? Is like people out there spreading the word to come work with us. But if they don't feel the structure, if they don't feel like there's a format, then they wonder what their friend is going to experience. They don't know what their friend is going to experience. And so they're hesitant to talk to their friends. They're hesitant to talk to their family and say, hey, you ought to go see this person. But when there is a format, a structure, a plan that they can feel and see that is happening, now they feel safe. They feel like they can trust you. And now they spread the word about you. So if you want your clients to be raving fans, show them you've got a type of format that you follow. Now, it's not rigid. It doesn't like take over your life and erase your personality. It doesn't do anything like that. It just really gives people that sense of you're legit. Like you're something. You're doing something, you follow something, and then this cool something happens. And then they're like, wow, I can go talk about you because I get what you're doing. And I know what you'll do with my friend. I know what you'll do with my family. And so I'm going to refer you out. I'm going to refer you to other people. So to me, that's like the super cool part about having a structure is number one, you're going to be better in your appointment because your intuition is going to be higher. But then also it generates business for you and helps you with the clients, especially in a world where, people say they're coaches, but they're not really. And then those people like mess up all the marketing out there in the world. You want to be able to do this by word of mouth, and structure is going to get you there. So as a coach, I hope you're staying active, which means receiving inspiration, organizing your message, narrowing in on who you want to coach, and then also thinking global, meaning you can get on social media. What social media is, it's a connection to the world. And maybe you don't want to get on social media. Maybe it kind of rubs you wrong and it's like irritates you. And, it's just like, oh, I can't stand it. Well, it's where the people are. You can have a bunch of people over for like a barbecue at the house, and you're going to see people on their phones. And what's going on when they're on their phones? Or maybe you have the family over for dinner, or maybe you're hanging out with some friends. You're going to see them get on their phone while they're with you or while they're in a group of people, and they're going to get online on social media. So even though people are with people, they will leave the group mentally and get online. So social media is like, it's like creeping up to be the most preferred way to connect with people. And so social media is where people go. So if you're not on social media, people are not going to see you and know about you that much. So even though maybe you might not like social media, it's something to realize, hey, this is where people are and this is where people go. I'm going to show up and I'm going to be there and I'm going to teach. I'm going to share. I'm going to make a difference all the way around the world. I will never forget this one night I was on Facebook and I was typing this message, and this woman responded, and she's talking to me and asking me questions about her son because she had saw some of my YouTube videos. And in watching the YouTube videos, she was helping her son, but she's like, "Oh my gosh, Kirk's on Facebook. I'm going to message him live." And so we're talking, and then I find out, she's from over in Egypt. And I'm like, "What are you doing up?" And she goes, "No, what are you doing up?" And it was just hilarious. But here we are talking, and you guys get that. I mean, literally, the world is the neighborhood now. You can literally reach people at all different times, at all different places. And even the little bit that I do, I am shocked at how people know me. I was at the Dominican Republic. I was on the island of Dominican Republic. And I went down there to go fishing and hang out with my wife for a week. And the guy came by to pick me up to take me fishing. And as he's driving me to the dock to go fishing, he looks at me and he goes, I know who you are. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And he goes, yeah, I watch your YouTube channel. I was like, you're kidding. And he goes, yeah, my family and I, we use what you teach and you help my kids and you help my marriage. And I was just blown away. I'm like, how did you find me? And he goes, oh, I was on YouTube one day and one of your videos popped up and you gave me something to do. It wasn't just a bunch of talking. It was like you actually gave me steps to follow. So I started following those steps. And my wife noticed. And she goes, what are you doing? And he says, oh, I'm watching this guy named Kirk on YouTube. And so he showed his wife. They found some videos about how to help kids with bullies, how to help them with confidence. And they started watching those videos. And so then their family are watching me. But then he's the one taking me to the dock to go fishing. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So even the little bit that I do, please, I'm telling you, get into the world of social media because you can make a difference in the world and you didn't even know you're doing it with people all over the place. So it's something to think about, to be able to go, all right, fine, I'll get out there in the world with social media. And if you don't know how to do it, watch a YouTube video. But think globally. Think globally. Like there's people all over the world that you can help. Not only the people in your neighborhood and your own family and in your community and the tribes that you're part of, but there's people everywhere. My gig where I came from in this world of coaching and training, I learned about vision boards and I was at the bottom of I hit bottom and I was asking God for help and he said, put a vision board on the wall. And I was like, God's recommending I put a vision board on the wall. So I put a vision board on the wall and it took me a couple weeks to figure it out. But once I figured it out, oh my gosh, my vision board has just like created miracles. It's activated my mind. So my mind is now more fully functioning. I did not know that my visualization in my mind wasn't operating. It wasn't working. It was like on 2%. And using a vision board turned that part of my mind on and activated it up to this level of like change my life kind of thing. It's like, whoa. And so it just created miracles in my life to turn my brain on to work better. And then people started asking me, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm doing this vision board and some emotional management. And so I started teaching those two things, vision boards and emotional management. And then the word spread and I started teaching a couple people, then a couple other people. And then we were doing classes in my house. And then I started teaching on stage and it just escalated. And then the audiences just got bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, hello there. Oh, you guys still there? Wow. Okay. Tell me if you can hear me. Hi, all still here. I can. Oh my goodness. What in the world just happened? Oh my goodness. That was different. What in the world? Okay, so here I am. Okay, so what I had to do, I don't know what happened. Let's see, where is my video? Whoa, I got some wild things happening on my screen here. Hold on just a second. Okay, so you guys know what a hotspot is, right? So I'm on a hotspot. Like I've lived here for a year and we have never had any glitches with the internet. And like you just said, Heidi, what you just said is this must be vital, right? It must be vital because something just happened. I mean, literally the whole entire internet shut down. And then my first hotspot, I couldn't find the charging cord. It's like, where did that thing go? But the good thing is I have a second hotspot just for backup. And so I'm using my backup. And I just want to make sure you guys can still hear me, right? It looks like everything's working. I've got the hotspot working, but tell me in the chat. You can see me, you can hear me, right? I'm over here looking in the chat box. Good. Okay, let's get after this. I'm glad you stayed. Okay, let's take care of this. All right. Okay, where was I? Okay, I was talking and let's just get into it. So, structure. Let's get into structure. So, structure, the reason why people want structure in your appointment is because they lack structure in their own life. So thank you for the comments to let me know that I'm still here and you can hear me. So here's the part why somebody wants structure in the appointment. Like there's some kind of format, there's some kind of plan. Now I can always get better, right? Like I can always get better in how I'm doing. I have my structure that I follow. But people today, when somebody else has some kind of structure, oh wow. It just is this relief because they want this, right? They want to be able to have step by step like, okay, what do I do next? What do I work on next? But when it's like this, they deal with this too much during the day, during the week, every day of their life. So when they meet you and you have some structure, even if it's a little bit, they're going to feel a relief. So structure actually causes a relief. Now, the checklist, we're going to go through this like number one, how to structure a 1 hour appointment. Now, this is what I do. When I structure a 1 hour appointment, I'm thinking time zones like 12 to 2, 2 to 5. And I'm talking like how I have it on the clock here 12 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. Like I'm watching the clock to see which time zone of that 1 hour appointment am I in. So I'm conscious of what I need to cover, where we need to get to within that 1 hour. Now, if you look at this, the first part is a lot of check-in, a lot of clarifying the goal, clarifying where they're going, what are they working on, making sure that nothing's changed since I talked to them last. And then you see right here in the between the 2 and the 5, you see that this is where the actual, hey, let's talk about this. Let me show you this. Let me teach you this. Here's something we need to look at next. And you see that it's actually a small portion of the time that we're together in the appointment. Now, that is usually a surprise to people because usually coaches think, well, no, I've got to use the whole entire time to teach. But I got to say, the most effective of the coaching appointment is this part, is where they get to ask questions. And also, I have them teach me back everything I just taught them. So we talk, we clarify where we're going. I have some training to teach or some kind of like the next activity, the next thing to do. And then there's this Q&A time and feedback time and teach back time that really opens up the discussion about how they are, what they're thinking, and where do they want to go next. So this 30 minutes right here of sharing content and then them teaching it back to me. I want them to know and understand what it is that we're talking about. And the best way I found out is that I have them teach me. So in this Q&A and review, I literally have them become the coach or become the teacher and have them teach me back. Then the last portion of the 1 hour appointment is where we take a look at, okay, what's the next steps? What is this going to look like? And then part of that last part is, okay, now here's how you're going to update me. Here's how you're going to report to me. Here's how you're going to track. And then the last 5 minutes is, okay, here's where I see you're going. I end the appointment talking about what's possible, what could happen if they were to stay on this particular trajectory. And so to walk through this one more time, let me just walk through with just a little bit more detail on this particular part of structuring an appointment. This first part, the clarifying the goal, I know from experience that goals can adjust between now and the last appointment. And so I got to quickly find out where they're headed. Okay, now tell me, what's your focus? What do you want to work on? And so I'm always asking them, what do you want to work on? What are you focusing? So I can dial in to see, because all kinds of inspiration Things could have happened since the last appointment. They could have like had something happen in their family. Now they got to adjust their goals, but the goals can shift. And so I know that I got to take that first bit of time to tune in to find out where are they, what are they thinking, what's on their mind. And so the rest of the appointment, I can be in tune to that. And so there's a lot of questions I ask during this time that helps me do that. But really, it comes down to where are you headed next? Like, what's next on your plate? Then the training, I'll show you in just a moment what I do inside that training, and what I suggest you do inside this training. This I have thought about ahead of time, right? Or maybe I have my agenda or my sessions or modules, and I already know like, oh, well, we need to do this one next. And so I have this planned, I've thought through it, and then this is where I deliver that particular training. And then usually this is not a lot of back and forth between me and the client. It's like, hey, let me teach you something. Let me show you something here that I believe is going to help this overall experience of you getting where you're going. And then usually the client right here, this is kind of a little bit of the Q&A and the review of what we just talked about. This tends to be a lot of discovery, meaning the client usually doesn't know, that they're going to be teaching, even though they've done it a couple of times. It usually catches them off guard each time, but I like to hear them teach me back with this new content or whatever we talked about, because I want to hear them talk. I want to hear them explain it. I want to hear how much of what I just shared actually got to them. Because just because I said it doesn't mean that they heard it. And so when you have a format like this where what you're teaching and then they get a chance to hear, they get a chance to share back, you then find out how much they actually heard. So as a coach, this has been really helpful for me to gauge how I'm doing teaching it and how well I'm connecting to them with this content. And then if they get it, like, wow, I get this, I see the importance of this. Okay, great. Let's talk about how you can implement this. What would this look like? And so now we're collaborating. So we're collaborating on the action steps and then how they're going to update me or report or keep track of what they're doing. So this last part, the last part of the meeting, then is more of a collaboration. It's not me just telling them what to do. Because when I first started out coaching, I thought my job was to tell people what to do. That's what I thought. I thought I'm the coach, I'm supposed to teach, and then I'm supposed to give them their action steps. But what I found is that the client wasn't quite enrolled into the content yet. And I'm over here trying to like establish action steps, but they didn't do their action steps. So I was wondering, why are they not doing their action steps? And then come to find out the reason why they weren't doing their action steps is because they didn't really understand what they were doing. And so inside my 1 hour framework of an appointment, I put in 15 minutes of finding out if they understand what's going on. If they understand what I'm teaching, if they understand their goal, if they understand the whole purpose of my coaching approach. But I put in 15 minutes to find out. And the way I find out if they understand is I give them space to ask questions, but that's not enough. If you pose to your client, hey, do you have any questions? And they say no, you are going to assume they understand. And that is a big problem with coaches today. And this can cause a big problem in your coaching style if you assume that they understand because you did what everybody else does is you asked your client, if they have any questions. And if your client says no, the only option it seems like then is, okay, well, let's just move on to action steps. Let's put this into action. And you really don't know what they understand. You don't know what they absorbed. You don't know how they're seeing this. You don't have any idea. So what I put in place then is I do give them space to ask questions, but more importantly, okay, teach me what you just heard. Show me what I just showed you. Explain what I just explained to you. Draw the diagram and tell me about it just like I drew the diagram and talk to you about it. Now, everything comes to the surface, meaning now I can watch and see how much they understand. I don't have to ask them 10 questions. And I did that for a while. Like I really grilled my clients for like a bunch of questions. And I noticed that bugged them for me to ask a bunch of questions about how much they understood. It almost felt like I was their parent or their mom and dad, or some school teacher, or, I'm interrogating them. And it just felt weird. And so that did not last. And so I figured out the best way for me to find out and to get a read on where they're at in understanding where we're going and how this is working and what I just taught them is simply to have them teach me back. Now, it's shocking for the client because first I ask, do you have any questions? And usually it's, no, I'm good. Okay, great. Teach me back. And then it's like, they like, it's a shocker. They're like, oh, you want me to tell you? And that shocking moment of that they now have to recall everything you just taught them in that 15 minutes, which is not a lot. It's not a lot. But now it's as though I asked them 20 more questions, but I didn't. I'm not putting all these interrogation questions on them. I asked a simple thing. Oh, you don't have any questions? Great. Teach me back. So then and now hear me on this. They actually find out how they're being as a student, as a client, because they just said they don't have any questions, but that is an easy way to get out of an appointment, is to say you don't have any questions. That's such an easy way to go, yeah. You told me a bunch of stuff. Anyway, I'm just going to go back to my regular life. And that's what people do is they don't ask questions. They don't know how to ask questions and they're not really paying that much attention. So now they're going to literally find out how much attention they're actually giving to this whole entire situation. So this to me, this is like the crowning moment of the whole entire appointment is the teach back. Because I learn about them. I see what they heard. I see everything that they absorbed and what they didn't absorb. And guess what it does? It produces questions. Now they have questions. Now they realize, oh my gosh, I got to pay attention. And so once you have one or two or three appointments with a person, they start to realize, okay, I better pay attention because now they're going to ask me questions. And so what it does is it causes your client to engage. It causes your client to pay attention. And that's a beautiful thing to have them pay attention so closely, but they learn it through the structure. You're not starting out the appointment saying, hey, pay attention to me. You're not demanding it. It's just part of the process. But it is such a gigantic part of coaching is to know where your client really is, not what they tell you. Don't listen to what they tell you. Watch what they teach you back and then watch what they do between the appointments. You learn a lot about a person, what they do and what they don't do. Then that's a lot more accurate than what they tell you. So I love listening to what people say, but I pay more attention to what they do. So in the teach back, they're doing the work. They're recalling it. And it's a powerful, powerful part. If you're not incorporating this into your coaching appointments, then put it in there. Because today, people's attention span is a lot less. And so this is an important aspect. And I love it. And it's a big part. And I hope you use it because it's going to really change your coaching and really elevate the value of your coaching. So this was really huge for me, that helped me feel like I'm making progress because I can see the client making progress. I see it happen right in the appointment. They didn't know something, now they know something. They didn't know how to do something, now they know how to do something. And then that then gets put into action steps. Then we have a type of reporting. They're either going to text me or they're going to call me or they're going to message me. And then at the end, I then talk about the vision, about where they're going in this coaching and what I see in them. And I'll talk more about that in just a moment. But this is my 1 hour structure. Now, what I do if it's 2 hours, I just follow these percentages. And these are exactly the percentages you just saw on that. And you can take a screenshot of this. But if it's a 2 hour appointment or a 90-hour appointment, or, but if it's less than 1 hour, if it's less than if it's less than, if it's 30-minute appointment, that's pretty fast, right? It's pretty fast to be able to go, okay, well, what do you cut out if it's a 30-minute appointment? I don't cut anything out. I'm not going to skip any of these steps. I'm not going to cut any of this out. Are you kidding? I'm not going to mess up my structure just because it's a 30-minute appointment. That means clarifying goals has got to happen within like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. That means my training has got to be like 5 to 7 minutes, and then Q&A. And then we got to talk about action steps and then tracking. How are you going to track this? How are you going to report this? And then I got to end with a vision that might be only 1 minute or 2 minutes. But I don't skip any of these if it's 30 minutes. Don't skip this, or you're missing the structure that creates change. This is the structure of transformation. These are the components. I've tried dropping them. I've tried erasing them and putting something else in, and then results go down. And it's like, okay, that's not working. So I keep coming back to this. Now, this is Kirk Duncan. Maybe your personality style is different, but I find great success from the clients when we follow this and we keep it a good pattern. Now, I don't tell the client, oh, let's move into this, let's move into this. This is how I function as a coach. This is the pattern I'm following, but I don't put this out in front of the client. They got lots of other things to think about, but they can feel it and see it that I'm following a structure. But this part is the golden part. Anyway, 30-minute appointment, you don't skip any, you just reduce it down. And if it's a 2-hour appointment, then double it. So then you double it. But the doubling of the first part of the 10-minute goal, the review, I don't spend 20 minutes reviewing. I still only spend 10 minutes here. But then the training and the Q&A is where I double that. And then I do double the amount of time for talking about action steps, because then we can really get into the nitty-gritty. But I use the percentages on this, move it around how many minutes you want to spend in each, but the actual steps of what you're doing here are super valuable, especially when you're wanting to, you have your clients experience transformation. And so that's a big part for me and how I structure a 1-hour appointment. And again, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A box, because this is what I'm going to do. After this is over, I'm going to go through all the questions, and then I'm going to answer those questions and send those answers out to those who are here right now. Cool? Okay. All right. So let's check this first box. How to structure a 1-hour appointment. Boom. There we go. Okay. How do you jumpstart your intuition? How do you do that? What do you do? So let's look at this right here. This is the pre-appointment checklist. So in my pre-appointment checklist, before an appointment, I go use the restroom. Sometimes I forget. That's why it's got to be on my checklist. And because you don't want to be sitting in an appointment thinking, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to go to the bathroom. So in my pre-appointment checklist, I use the restroom, and this is like 15 minutes before, right? This is before, this is not like 1 minute before. It's 15 minutes before. So I got to run through this 15 minutes before. Do I have water? Do I have a pen and paper? Even if I'm on Zoom, I have a pad of paper right next to my desk in case I have anything I need to quickly write down. Pen and paper. I review the notes from last appointment. I know what to follow up on because I see what they said they were going to do, and I'm going to ask questions about it. Then this is the other key point. Within the last 10 minutes before the appointment, this is how I turn on intuition, is I stop thinking about anything else. Nothing else. I stop doing anything else, and I'm sitting here only thinking about them because I want to tune my thoughts, my energy towards them, and I want to energetically connect to them before the appointment, not when the appointment starts, because then I'll miss all the important information that happens right at the beginning of an appointment. Then I start literally connecting to them, and I'm thinking these kinds of thoughts. How is your day? How was your week? How are you sleeping? How is your interaction with people? How are you doing financially? How are you doing emotionally? How are you doing spiritually? Like I'm checking in on these different areas of their life, and I'm posing questions while I'm sitting here 10 minutes before the appointment, thinking about nothing else. And I'm only thinking about them, but I'm pondering on the question as I think about them. Now, because of past Zoom calls that I've had with them, I literally have a picture of them from on the Zoom. So I can have a picture of them. I'm looking at them. I'm thinking about them. I'm posing the questions about them. Because if I can think about them, ask questions about them, I'm activating my mind and my soul to connect to them. And that connection is golden to me. It is super important. That way, when the appointment starts, I'm already deeply connected before they say one word. That way, when they get on the appointment and I'm listening to them, I can fully and deeply listen to the words they choose to say, the tone of voice that they're saying it in, and the energy behind the comment. So I can use my attention more deeply because I took time to tune in 10 minutes before and look at the picture, think about them, sit here, ask the questions, tune into them. Because once the appointment starts, every word they say matters to me. Every tone shift, every energy shift, everything. I'm going to use all of my attention to read them so I can understand them, so we can work on the right things in this appointment. And you can learn how to do this because I learned how to do this. So I knew that to be a great coach, I have to be a great listener. To be a great coach, I got to be a great listener. And listening has so many aspects to it. So the other part about this tuning into them is I imagine what they're becoming. Where are they going? What are they becoming? What's their ultimate? I want to see them at their best. And so I'm seeing them as their best, what they're becoming. And then be on time. When it's time, click the button. If it's on Zoom or you're at your office and they're walking in the door, but double check your tech, make sure you have internet, and make sure your Zoom is all turned on, ready to go. So you're ready to go, and your passwords are all put in, so you're not scrambling, and being late because you forgot your password. But this has been super helpful for me for the pre-appointment checklist. And if you have any questions about my pre-appointment checklist, go to the Q&A section of your Zoom bar and type in your questions. But I'm going to point right here in the middle of this about activating your intuition. Your intuition must be activated. It's not on at 100% every day. It's not. It's scattered. It's going about, 100 different directions all day long. But when it comes time for coaching, this is a priceless, precious moment to hold a coaching appointment. You don't mess with this. This is this person's life. You're dealing with somebody's life. And so you want to stop your brain, focus on the client, activate with questions, imagine them how they are as their best and what they're becoming. Pose the questions so that when they come on the Zoom call or they walk in the door, you've activated all of your listening abilities, everything. So you can be present, focused in on the appointment, and and I'll tell you what will happen is you will hear and feel and see what the real issue is for this person. They think they know what the problem is. They think they know, but you're on the outside looking in. And if your listening skills are tuned in and you can use all of those senses about listening, you will find what really is going on and then be able to coach them on that. That's what they want. They want somebody who can tune in, somebody who can listen, somebody who will listen and really listen to every detail and how things are going. So you can help find what really is the problem. Because if they knew what the problem was, they would have already fixed it. That's why people can't fix problems, because they don't know what the problem is. But you can learn how to do this through that intuitive side of listening. But you got to make it a practice in what you're doing here in your pre-appointment checklist. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so pre-appointment checklist, 1 hour, boom. Pre-appointment checklist, got that. I just showed you what that is. And also how to jumpstart your intuition. Now, you see right here within the first 3 minutes, okay, what is that? Like, what happens within the first 3 minutes? Within the first 3 minutes, I am asking about their goal, because I don't want the conversation to go way off track, burn up 10, 15 minutes of their appointment, and then I have to bring them back on track. So how the conversation starts sets the tone for everything. So I'm the one, the coach, who puts us on track. And so an important part about what happens in the first 3 minutes is you have to bring them on track with, where are you going? Where are you headed? What are you working on? So that it brings all of their discussions, all of their thoughts going all over the place. Boom, we're on track. And they're going to be so grateful that you are somebody who brings them on track. But that has to happen within the first 3 minutes. If I wait longer than three minutes to get them on track in the discussion, it's going to cost me 10 to 15 minutes of random conversation. And 10 to 15 minutes could be life-changing. It could be mind-blowing. It could be finding the core issue. It could be all kinds of things. So you don't want to waste 10 minutes of the appointment with random thinking, because you did not take charge and take the reins by saying, okay, what are you working on? Where are you going? Tell me what your goal is again. That's the get yourself on track type of statement. And that has to happen within the first 3 minutes of the discussion. Okay, 3 pitfalls. 3 pitfalls to watch out for. Okay, so this is the same 1 hour appointment, right? This is the same 1 hour appointment, but just put in a type of pattern of what I'm doing inside that appointment. So I talked to you about, you're checking in, what's the goal? And then the next part is you're finding, you have some training that you're going to share, the Q&A, and then right here is the teach back, right here in the QA zone. So 3 pitfalls. Okay, what happens is, one of the pitfalls is they don't want to get into training. So they'll take you off course. They'll bring up something else. And so you might have to redirect the conversation of, okay, let's talk about what's going to be the next training piece to help move you forward in what we're doing here in this coaching. So if they're off on a topic and you can see this topic is going way off the path, you're going to have to just interrupt. Now, I want you to know I have learned to interrupt appropriately. You have to interrupt your client, because if they wander off the path too far and you don't course correct, you're going to burn up 10, 15 minutes, and that could have been used towards transformation. So one of the ways I appropriately interrupt is I just raise my hand, and I'll just sit there and wiggle my hand, and they'll go, "Oh, did you want to say something?" "Yes, let's talk about training." And I just go right in. So I'll raise my hand, or another way to appropriately interrupt is I literally will just say, "Okay, I appreciate what you're talking about, but we need to do training." But I do it out of love, not out of like, scolding. I'm not scolding somebody, but I got to like practice interrupting the client. So one of the places that they will derail is right before training, and they will derail, or pitfall is that they will mess with the conversation talking about action steps because they already had so much to do. And you talking to them about what else they're going to do, oh, they don't want to talk about that. And they also, the other third part, the third pitfall is that they're going to waffle around with the tracking and reporting. So we got training, talking about steps, and then these I coupled together as the third pitfall is they don't want to get down to like specifics. Like, okay, as you're doing your video, maybe you give them a video assignment. As you're doing your video, I want you to text it to me each day. And maybe they don't want to do that. They're like, "Oh, every day." And you can see that it's not like something they want to do. And so this can get a little soft, or the talking about the action step can get soft, or training can get soft. So these are usually the three areas. This is a one, this is a second, this is a third. But just because their energy drops, it doesn't mean you get pushy. So anytime your client's energy drops because maybe they don't want training, maybe they have something about that, maybe they don't want to talk about action steps, maybe they don't want to do reporting, just because their energy drops, you have to practice raising your enthusiasm instead of getting pushy. Because naturally, you get pushy. Naturally, you get aggressive when somebody backs off or is like the energy sinking, because you start to use save them energy. Like, oh, like you're going to grab them, you're going to move them, you're going to push them. And that's not good for coaching. What you do is you switch to enthusiasm. Okay, hey, let's talk about training. And if you feel their energy or hear their energy drop, then what happens is you go to enthusiasm, like, "Oh, I just love this. I love talking about vision boards, or I love talking about writing a life story." And so you perk up the moment. Don't try to push them or drag them or anything like that. And then you just hold that enthusiasm. So any of those places, anywhere on this circle of the pattern of holding the appointment, you sense energy drop, it's heading to the pits. You hold the space with enthusiasm. So make sure you write that in your notes. Enthusiasm holds the line so it doesn't drop into the pits. Just because they're dropping doesn't mean the whole appointment has to drop. Don't follow their energy when it goes down, because you'll get aggressive and pushing. You don't need to do that. You don't need to be that way. Okay, not at all, at all. Okay, good to know. Good to know. I hope that's helpful. And if you have questions about that, put that in the Q&A too. Okay, during the appointment, there's these 5 mind tricks that happen. This is really interesting. These are different ways that the client could behave that they don't even know they're doing it. They don't even know. So, number one, they will come up with the guess what happened comments. These are random stories that will pop up. Now, maybe like 10, 10, 20%, 10, 20% will be valuable, but the other 80, 90% of them, they're just random. But what they're used for is they're used to break up the energy of, because you're coaching and you're getting to a point of what's sabotaging them. And it's really interesting. I find that the subconscious actually tries to hide the self-sabotage. I don't know if that's really like hide it, but it's like it doesn't want to be found, because if it's found, it's got to be changed. And so that clients will come up with, guess what happened? Random stories. So that's a mind trick. I call it a mind trick. Like, oh, their mind is pulling a trick on them to derail the appointment. The next one is something will happen around them that's a small disturbance, but to them, they make it really big. Like there's a noise or they heard something outside. Another one that happens is kids will walk in, but then it becomes this big deal. But it doesn't have to be a big deal. But they use it as a way to interrupt the appointment. Next, all of a sudden, they have this avoidance experience happen where they forgot their assignment, they forgot their goal, they forgot who they are, they forgot what they're doing. And it's all these different comments or a conversation that it's like it's completely avoiding the conversation where we're at. But I see it, and I see that it's another way to interrupt the flow of the appointment, which is leading towards transformation. Then another one is they turn the attention. Now, a lot of these seem similar, but they really are different. When you start to look at them and you see them, you'll start to notice how different these are. But number 4 is they turn the attention, meaning we're heading a certain direction in the conversation, and all of a sudden, they make a hard right turn. And then we're going this other direction. It's like, it's kind of like a tangent, but it is like super important to them what they're talking about. But it has nothing to do with the appointment. It's another diversion. Then we have the tangent upon tangent, or what I call the squirrel chaser. So their mind brings up a bunch of stuff, and now they're ping-ponging about a bunch of things. But it's a tangent upon tangent upon tangent. Like we are like 7 flights of stairs away from where we were before. So when I catch any of these happening, I will let the mind trick play out for about a minute, maybe a minute and a half, and then I redirect. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Okay, back to the training. Or, wow, okay, back to the action steps, or back to reporting, I got to redirect. I can't let the client do this and get away with it. Now, I love them enough to keep them on track. Now, if they bring up something that's important that goes along with what we're talking about, that's not a tangent. It's not distraction. But if it doesn't connect, and I can see that it's one of those mind tricks, I have to interrupt. Gently, kindly interrupt. Because I know from my 19 years of experience that there is something in their subconscious that is saying, hey, don't let this go where it's going, because Kirk is going to find what's really going on. He's going to find this. Let's get him off the path. And so I know these mind tricks happen because I'm good at what I do. And I see their mind like, oh my gosh, he's coming. He's getting closer. He's going to find it. Because when we find what the core issue is or what the sabotage is, what we find is there's got to be a change. And usually when we find what is sabotaging them, there's usually emotion. And so a lot of this is avoidance of that particular emotion. So it's to distract me, it's to derail me so we don't find what we need to find so that they can be a better person. And so it's these things happen. So if you're watching for this, you will see it and you'll go, oh my goodness, I know what Kirk's talking about. But when the mind tricks happen, you don't have to follow them. You course correct and stay on track, because if you let your client do these mind tricks that they don't even know they're doing, the appointment value goes down because you're not getting to it. You're not getting to what needs to be talked about. You're not getting to the core. You're not getting to what needs to be taught. You're not getting to the point of the appointment. And so if you let them burn up 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you're not going to have the time you need to find what you're looking for, or to teach what you want to teach, or to set up the tracking and reporting the way it needs to be set up. It's just not going to happen. But the client will think you're not coaching well. And to you, it's like, wait, no, you went on 15 tangents. They don't see that. They don't see this, but they will look at you that the coaching appointment didn't get to a point. So that's the kind of like the weird part, is like, wait a minute, you're the one on the tangents. You're the one on the tangents. But if you even try to tell the client you're the one who caused the tangents, they're going to look at you like you are a bad coach, because they can't see this happening. All they're watching is you coaching. So as coaches, we got to like see this and handle it and redirect and keep them on track to the appointment gently, lovingly, kindly, appropriately, respectfully. Because I got tired of clients blaming me for a low value appointment. And I'm like, all right, I'm done following them on these goose chases. That's why I should call it 5 goose chases. That's what I should call it. But I am shocked over the 19 years how much this happens. And it's actually getting worse. It's getting worse. So I'm redirecting a lot in appointments, which is there's nothing bad about a person. It's just what's happening to people's minds. It's just what's going on. It's scrambling people's thoughts. It's hard for them to stay on track. It's my job to keep them on track during the appointment. Hope that makes sense. If it makes sense, click the raise the hand button on your Zoom bar. Just give me a heads up, or a hands up on that part. So super important. I don't really talk a lot about this, but it's Saturday morning. I thought I'd share that with you because that's a big deal to me. Okay, we got that one. Boom. 5 unconscious mind tricks to watch for. Okay, keeping their attention. Keeping their attention is the teach back. It's that Q&A zone. You know, and take a screenshot of this, just a little bit more detail about the teach back. But this is how you keep their attention, because once they realize, wow, I'm going to teach back every appointment, like every appointment he's going to ask me, I better pay attention. So they learn to pay more attention, because there's going to come a time that they've got to recite it and recall it. And so you don't have to tell your client, hey, pay attention. Hey, pay attention. So to me, this is one of my secret sauces. I've gotten really good at this part. And it's just beautiful when they see it. When they see it and they get it, it's just so awesome that they're that engaged, and it really guarantees they're going to do their action steps, because now they get it. Because when they get it, they'll do it. You got to write that down. When they get it, they'll do it. But if they're not doing it, it's because they don't get it. And they don't get it because you're not asking them to teach them back, but they'll do it when they get it. So if I have a client that's not doing their action steps, it's like, wow, I need to spend more time in the teach back. And I've actually taken a whole entire appointment and had them teach me the last 3 appointments. So I just took the whole hour and went, no, they're not doing their action steps. They're going to coach me in the appointment. So then I don't even do the pattern. I do the whole entire appointment as a teach back. Okay, you're going to teach me what you've learned in the last 3 appointments. Okay, you're the coach. Go. After that appointment of them doing a full appointment of teach back, they start doing their action steps. I've seen this happen over the last 19 years, that if they're not doing it, it's because they don't get it. And then when they get it, they do it. And so it's worth stopping and going through, but not you repeating it. They're teaching you. You got that, right? Don't jump in and save them. You let them do their thing, and teaching you. And then because they recall it, they get it. And so, just so good. I'm actually excited because I know you're going to do this and you're going to add that where it goes. It goes, you ask the questions. Hey, do you have any questions? Okay, great. Okay, now teach me back. It goes right there in the Q&A spot when it comes to that part right there. Okay, so keep their attention. That's how you keep their attention through the appointment. Okay, what never to do at the end of an appointment. Let me show you that. This is really good. To post appointment. Okay, let's walk through this. Okay, post appointment checklist. At the end of the appointment, before I get up and go anywhere, I'm going to write down what worked. Then I'm going to write down what didn't work. Then I'm going to write down from those two what I'm going to adjust next time for my coaching style. Like what my coaching structure, my style, because I just found out what worked, what didn't work. And now I need to document while I'm in the energy of the moment, what I'm going to adjust for next time. And this is an ongoing list of what to adjust, right? Then I wrap up with some notes I might need to document, or I need to put them in a folder. I take pictures of the diagrams or screenshots of the diagrams we used. I put those in a folder because I have a folder on every client that I work with. And then I file everything. And then if I did a Zoom call, I'll download the recordings and I'll put it in their file. So I'm keeping that all on an external hard drive with each one of their files. So it's not taking up space on my computer or even my Google Drive account. So I'll keep everything together so I have a full, place to go to be able to check in, update myself, where they're at, what we're working on. Okay, so what never to do. So that's the piece, right, that we're talking about is I put on here what never to do. What never to do at the end of the appointment is to stand up and walk away. If you're doing a Zoom appointment. If you stand up and walk away, you're not analyzing the appointment. You don't know what to change to be better. You're not keeping track of notes. If you finish an appointment and escape and you just leave, or you just get on YouTube and watch funny videos, or you're like, you run upstairs to go eat lunch and you don't sit there and take care of that appointment with your post-appointment checklist. If you don't do that, you are going to get really messy and you're going to lose confidence in yourself as a coach. I don't care how many clients you've worked with. If you get sloppy with this and you don't do this, that's a disrespect for your clients. You're not operating at your best. Don't get sloppy just because you have a bunch of clients. You need to stop, take notes, what worked, what didn't work, what to adjust, pull your notes together, get your pictures, file everything, put everything where it needs to be before you get up and leave. Show that client the deepest respect after the appointment. Now, I'm going to tell you, energetically, they feel it. They feel how much respect you have for them. They feel how much love you have for them. They feel if you really are a coach or if you are a salesperson, that you just sold them appointments and you're just doing it for the money. A real coach does coaching practices, and these are coaching practices. This is what a real coach does. And they even after the appointment is finished, you still have some work to do. And it's 15 minutes within the 15 minutes, right? And you take care of this because you respect the person and you want to be a better coach. And you want your next appointment, your next time with them or the next appointment with somebody else, this makes you a better coach. So the thing to never do is to stand up and walk away. Okay, two more things here at the end. Ask yourself, what's the profound message that happened in the appointment? What's the profound message? Now, you can document it in their notes. You could also text it to them or email it to them if you want to. But at least document the profound moment, the profound message that happened in the appointment. This is called finding the gold boulder. Finding the gold boulder from the appointment. Because if you can find the gold, you can see the gold, and it teaches your brain what to look for. And then the last part, why do you love coaching? At the very end of the appointment, after you've done all this work, sit there just for a moment and go, okay, why do I love doing this? And to be able to tell yourself, I love doing this because of this and this and this. That way you seal up the appointment with love. Because the best way you're going to activate your intuition and your gifts and talents and your top level skill of being a coach is if you truly do love people. Because if you love the people, that means you're loving yourself. And what you love, that's what you become fascinated with and fixated on, and you get really good at it, the things you love. So if you can tell yourself, okay, why do I love coaching? That actually is a thought process to make you a better coach. Because when you can find the gold, you can see the gold. Because when you find it, it's like, whoa, look what I found. Look what I see. Look what I'm doing here. And it turns your mind in this direction to become the best coach you ever have ever been. But this is how you do a post-appointment checklist. And that's the thing, you just don't stand up and walk away. No, you don't. You don't stand up and walk away. And maybe you've been doing that and you're like, oh, Kirk, I've been doing that. It's like, So this last one serious key factor you do within the 15 minutes afterwards, I put a star on it on this. This last one, why do you love coaching? Now, you can come up with one reason, but now you go eat lunch, right? Now you go to your next thing. But as you stand up and you walk away from your Zoom call, or you're walking away from your office, or you're walking down the hall to get a snack, and you're pondering on why do you love coaching? See if you can find 2 reasons. See if you can find 3. And even if it's the same reasons that you just said after your last appointment, say the same reasons to yourself again. Reinforce it. Solidify it. Make that deeper connection why you love coaching. Because if you love coaching, what happens is love comes from you, that it's, I love coaching. And guess the kind of coach people want to find? They want to find a coach that is literally, they've got the vibe that they're good at what they do and they love people and they love it. That's the kind of person people are looking for. But if you finish an appointment, and at the end you're like, oh, I hate this. Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I'm such a screw up. Well, guess what your vibe's going to be? I hate this. I'm such a screw up. I'm so stupid. And then you wonder why your marketing isn't working? Do you know that your vibe is the most important marketing tool you have? I know people who spend tons of money on marketing and they put tons of energy into marketing and spending and social media and doing all this stuff. But if your vibe is messed up, it will mess everything up. And your vibe comes from what you think and what you feel. What you think and feel comes together, and then that produces your vibe. What you think and feel. So if after the appointment you're hating on it and it's like, I hate this. Oh, where's the list? You are sending a vibe that's going to make you broke. Do you know that being broke is first a vibe before it's ever a bank account issue? Do you know that wealthy is a vibe before it's ever created money? You have to have the vibe of wealthy, healthy, strong, love it, before you're ever going to have it. You have to have the vibe before you will ever have it. or before you will ever experience it. You don't get to experience things you want if your vibe is off. And your vibe comes from what you think and feel. And it's going on every day, 24/7, every day of the entire year, every second, every moment. Your vibe is wrapping around the world. People on the other side of the world can feel your vibe. You cannot hide your vibe. Your skin does not hide your vibe. It doesn't hide your vibe. Your vibe is all the time. So if you got kind of junky thinking and you got like toxic emotions, you need work. You need some work on that because you're not going to get away with it. You can't. There's no way you can get away with it. Okay, so that right there, that's that last checkbox of one serious key factor you do within the last 15 minutes, within 15 minutes afterwards, is because that's the moment you actually are adjusting your vibe. The post-appointment shows this is going to increase your vibe so that you're sending out the right signal in the right frequency so people want to work with you. You can't cheat. There's no way to cheat this. There's no way you can get away with this. And because if after the appointment, you just go sour, you just messed up your business. You just messed up your marketing. You just messed up your world. So don't. Oh, but Kirk, I really do think I'm stupid. It's a thought. Change your thoughts about yourself. You get in control of your thoughts. Stop letting your thoughts control you. You control your thoughts. All of a sudden, your thoughts are like the boss. It's out here going, you are this, you are this. Your thoughts are not outside of you, bossing you around. They are yours. You control it. Your feelings aren't out here going, oh, your life is crap. No, your feelings are inside. Do work on your feelings. Change your vibe, change your life. That's how it works. That's how it works, is you have to change the vibe. That's what will make a big, big, big difference as you are working on having the best coaching appointment ever. And that's how people are going to fall in love with you. They're going to be like, oh, I just love you. I just want to learn from you. Is because of what comes from you, not just what you say, but the emotion that you admit. Okay, so here's something I want you to think about. What you need to do is you need to use the power of visualization and the power of language. Okay, there's two massive powers that you can start with, is using visualization and using language. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to create a client story, a new client story. This is an example of a new client story because the story you tell becomes instructions to how to live, which then your mind follows the instructions, and that controls what you do and what you don't do. So if you want to be a great coach, you need to be telling yourself you're a great coach. If you want to be a genius, you need to tell yourself you're a genius. If you want to be somebody who can find the core issues, you have to tell yourself you can find the core issues. If you want to be a $25,000 coaching package coach, you have to tell yourself you're a $25,000 package coaching coach. So you have to back up and go, wow, the story I tell becomes the instructions my mind follows, and that controls what I do and what I don't do, and ultimately what I have and what I don't have. And so you have to back up to the origination of all things. The origination of all things is vibration, and vibration divided into its components first start out with visualization, language, and emotion. Three key elements. So what I want you to do is I want you to create a new client story. And this is an example. And you could take a picture of this right now and use this until you create your own client story. If you don't have a new client story, then you got some other story in your brain that's, I don't know where it's going. I don't know where it's taking you, but you can always tell the direction and the results of a person by the story that's being told inside their head. And if you're not using this story every single day, I can't help you, because you're going to just wander all over and do whatever. So you need this new client story inside your head. So take a picture of it, use it until you create your own story. Now, here's a couple questions you can use to create your story. So get a picture of this. These are 11 questions to be able to help you formulate your own story. So you can go through each one of these, write down what you think right now, or what you're pondering on right now, the details that you could pull together for your story. So get a picture, got it, good. Okay, so that story then gets pulled together, and then you literally read this story out loud every day. Because you're in the beginning stages of using stories, you have to activate the vibration through your vocal cords, your tongue, your mouth, and so that vibration comes out of your mouth. Because if a vibration comes out of your mouth, then what happens is that vibration then radiates through your body. If you can produce a vibration with your vocal cords, that vibration goes through your body. And that's what you need the most help with right now, is to produce the vibration inside of your body. You're not to the level of projection yet. If you have not been using stories, you have to dial in your body first before the vibration will project outwards. So the first stage of using stories is to say the story out loud, so the vibration then tunes your body. It tunes your cells, your flesh, your organs. It gets into your blood. It gets into your everything inside you. That vibration starts to penetrate, get in, and rearrange your energy, your vibe, so that you become in alignment. Success comes from alignment. Failure, constant failure, comes from a case of out of alignment. So if you have conflicting stories in your head of, I want to be a coach, but I'm stupid. I want to be successful, but I feel dumb. Those are conflicting stories. So you're going to be out of alignment. So use this story to be able to start to say the story out loud, to get them across your vocal cords, the vibration from your vocal cords. And if you don't think you're producing a vibration, put your hand or your fingers on your vocal cords and you can feel the vibration. So your first issue of becoming a better coach is your vibration. And so use this story to say it out loud. And if I were you, I would say it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I would get in tune, get in alignment as fast as possible. Let's get in alignment. That's just the beginning level. Because your spiritual gifts are not going to function as well as they could when you're out of alignment. They just won't. How could they? How could your spiritual gifts that you use to tune into people, to understand people, to help people, how are those spiritual gifts supposed to work if you have conflicting thoughts in your head and in your heart? Do you realize with conflicting thoughts in your head and your heart, if they're in two different places, your soul, where your spiritual gifts reside, they're just sitting there going, okay, we can't work because you have an internal argument going on. Literally an internal argument that's not settled. It's not settled. You're not aligned. And so your spiritual gifts are barely functioning. And if you want to find the new level of your spiritual gifts working, you got to get your head and your heart in alignment and connected through the process, how it's built. This is how it's built. You insert a story, it becomes instruction. That instruction then is what your system then follows. So you got to tell the same story, not conflicting stories. You have to get onto one story, not conflicting stories. That way, any other story besides this is not even valid to even listen to. It's no, I don't even listen to that story anymore in my head. I don't listen to that story from other people. I have my own story. So you can become one. The most challenging part for people today is that they are fragmented. They are in pieces. They are scattered. They are confused because they don't have one story that they follow. So if you want to be whole and complete, you want to be balanced and in alignment, you got to start here. Having the story, saying the story is going to pull you together. It's going to pull you together. And everything I just taught you about the pattern of doing an appointment, about how to break up the time, it's good to know, but you are going to possibly struggle doing it if you personally are out of alignment. So that's why I'm bringing this to you, because I want you to know how to do the appointment, but I'm more caring about how you are on the inside. Because you can learn all you want and you can study all the books you want, you can take all the courses you want, but if you're out of alignment, it's just like it doesn't work. It just won't come together. And I need to tell you, you're not together on the inside at the level you can be, but you're one story away. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now that's going to feel really weird. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, I got to go here pretty soon, but I got to just put this one more time. Your alignment inside is critical. Your alignment inside is critical. Now, if you want me to help you build your story, you want me to help you with your alignment, well, you grab an appointment with me. Get an appointment. Scan that QR code. Let's jump on an appointment. Now, you got to pay for the appointment, right? But just so you know that for this experience right here, I've greatly reduced the price of my appointment so I could work with you. So in 1 hour, we could do a lot. If you want me to help you with your story, you want me to help you with your coaching content, you want me to help you with your coaching appointment, you want me to help you pull together the techniques, you want to talk about your spiritual gift and how to use it. If you're an empath, I can help you. Which an empath is a person who has a spiritual gift to connect to people. But if you call yourself an empath, I understand you at a deep level and how you're possibly out of alignment. So if you would like to jump on an appointment with me, you can type in 3ke.2/1 hour Kirk. And Adam, can you put that in the chat? I think Adam's here helping me. Put that in the chat, or you can scan this QR code, and then that'll take you right to the link to be able to schedule an appointment with me. But now here's something cool, is because it's Saturday and you decided to be here. If you do schedule an appointment today, I will gift you a second 1 hour appointment just because it's Saturday. I've only done one other time where I did a webinar on Saturday. So I thought, boy, whoever shows up for this, I just want to talk to them. I want to work with you. So as a Saturday bonus for you showing up and being here, if you decide to schedule your appointment with me today, which means you're going to get on the calendar, pay for the appointment, get on the calendar, pick the time. At the end of that first appointment, you and I will look at your calendar and my calendar, and we'll schedule the second one. So you have to hold the first one. If you want to gift the second one to your spouse or a business partner, you can. If you're going to gift it to your teenager has to be 18 years or older for me to talk to them. But you're welcome to gift that second appointment if you want to. So great opportunity, get some coaching. We can narrow in on what's going on with you to get you in alignment. Any aspect of your coaching, I'd be happy to be able to work with you to get you in a better place so that you can do the great work that you can do. So that bonus goes for if you schedule the appointment today, then during that appointment, we'll then schedule your second appointment. The other thing to consider too is, I've loved putting programs together. These programs are all successful. Most of these are $1 million programs where they generated anywhere between $500,000 to $1 million a year in sales. Absolutely love it. Worked with lots and lots and lots of people. If you want help building your coaching program, I have a program called Coach Fast Track. where we work with you on your content, we work with you on your delivery. There's so much we can help you with because of my years of experience and program building. There's just so much we can do to help you get in order to be able to build a $10,000 coaching program, meaning people pay you $10,000 to coach with you. And if that's a number that resonates with you and you're like, well, I want a $10,000 coaching program, well, then let's talk. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Coach Fast Track program. And the way you do that, if that is an option and you're like, yeah, I want to build my program or I want to get started, I want to be better at what I do, and you want some long-term coaching and some training that will really help you, then you could go here. This is the Coach Fast Track scheduler, meaning you book an appointment, you'll talk to either me or you'll talk to one of my team members and they'll tell you all about the program. And then after you get all the details, you make a choice. It's really easy. We're not going to push you. We're not going to pressure you. We tell you all about the program. And then from there, you make a choice. And there's some bonuses if you register for a call during one of my webinars, and we'll give you all those details during your call. But if you want to have some additional training about the business side, the coaching structure, help lots and lots and lots of help with the coaching in how to get this put together, then book a call with us. And you might talk to me or one of us here or it might be me. I'm about one every 3 or 4 of the calls I show up in the queue. So you might end up talking to me, which would be fun. It'd be fun to talk to you and tell you all about the Coach Fast Track program. So 2 great things you could do. You could schedule a call to learn about the Coach Fast Track, get all the details, make your decision from there. For sure, when you're on the call, if it's with me or one of my team members, tell them you were on this webinar, because that will then prompt them to change the tuition because you were here. There's always a benefit when you schedule this call. If you say, hey, and I saw this on the webinar, you want to say it because they're going to ask, hey, where did you find out about this? And if you say, oh, I was on one of Kirk's webinars. Oh, you were? And then they're going to adjust the tuition for you. So really cool. So if that's something you like to do, please scan that code or type in that link there. But if you want to have a one-on-one appointment, boom, let's talk, right? Let's talk. And then you get a second appointment. So 2 things, maybe I shouldn't be putting 2 things in front of you, but there's 2 for you to look at to support you in moving forward. Okay, I got to go. You guys got to go. Great to be with you. I am going to send a recording of this to you because we had that glitch, and I know some people had to drop off because they were trying to plan it to be, the time that they had. But I am going to send a copy of this to you. I hope this will help you. So either book an appointment or schedule a call and let's talk about Coach Fast Track. Either way, I can help you move the needle on your coaching program so that you're in alignment, so that people want you, so that you can sell your coaching program, have the money to live the lifestyle of being a coach, loving what you do, and making and changing people's lives in a huge way. I love it. It's just beautiful. It's just the thing. And my 19 years of experience, I don't want to die with it. I want to make sure you get it. I want to make sure you get everything I've learned so that you can do your best. Cool? All right. Very, very cool. Thank you for showing up here. And I am super excited to get a chance to talk to you on one of these appointments, or I'll see you on the next training. So again, we'll send you a copy of this and we'll go from there. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for being here and have a great Saturday. Awesome, you guys. And then what I'm going to do with the questions that were put in the Q&A, I'm going to, when we send the email out to you with the replay link, I'm going to go through and answer those questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video right now. I'm going to stop the webinar, but I'm going to leave it here just for a moment. If you have any questions you want to type in the Q&A, because I will answer them and you'll get that along with the email that will have the recording of this. So you get the recording and the answers to the questions that were asked. So kind of like a bonus, right? Okay, cool. Okay, so as a fast review, pay attention to where your time's going. Pay attention. Redirect the client. You're in charge. While you're teaching, remember this spot, the Q&A. Remember that have them teach you back. If they don't understand, they don't take action. And that means your coaching isn't going to work for them. For the vitality of your coaching program and your coaching business, you have to find out their level of understanding. Have them teach you back and watch and notice what they got, what they didn't get, and then help them. You're raising the levels of understanding, which raises motivation to take action. Cool? All right. Love you guys. Thank you.